everyone, I'm Akshitarada over here. I'm a life transformation coach and a trainer. And today, I want to share with you the biggest drive that human beings have. And as you keep watching this video, you will understand how to turn your understanding of what drives you to transform yourself into a high performing machine. I say enough of wasting time on identifying your purpose and your calling. You've spent enough time doing that now. This video might be a shortcut for you to getting there. So keep watching. So, human beings are vast and complicated beings. We're all so similar, yet so different, it's astounding. In a world where we are all mainly pinned down by societal expectations and our wants being slightly influenced by trends, most of our desires and needs and wants aren't truly our own, but it gets molded from where the global acceptance of it stands upon. But sometimes I feel that's what differentiates the normal from the 4% people. What I mean when I say the 4% people is that it's a crazy fact. 4% of the people in this world own 96% of the wealth in this world. It's a crazy fact. But that's not what we are talking about today. So what distinguishes them? Some waited for things to get accepted before they could unleash themselves outside, whereas the rest made their calling their purpose and took the courageous step forward. And the rest is history. And that's what we call visionaries, right? Those are who we call visionaries. So, what are we talking about over here? Over here, we're discussing the craziest drive that human beings have that absolutely makes us or breaks us, what forms us or deforms us. But before that, I have good news to share with you. You are not affected by societal opinion as much as you think you are. Most of us are in the constant pursuit of cutting through life in a way that we can look at ourselves in the mirror and just live with ourselves, honest talk. But what we're also doing is we're subconsciously creating a model about ourselves in our head. And this model is created by the experiences that you have had in your life. Well, it's not entirely wrong. I believe that no one model of the world is right or wrong. You know, as they say, nothing in this world is right or wrong. Everything is purely a perception. While I do agree with that phrase, I feel like there's a lot of gray area to that particular line. Because it won't necessarily help a person make the right choices or decisions in life. So here's how I differentiate if a person's model of the world is right or wrong. And I ask myself these three questions, which I want you to ask yourself at this very moment. So the first question I want you to ask yourself at this moment is my model of the world pushing me forward or pulling me backwards? Now you must be thinking, how do I identify my model of the world? You might be very confused at this moment. As like obviously you're not written it down. It's all in your mind right now, which is a lot more confusing. So I'll give you a few examples. Number one, you might have heard people say, money does not grow on trees. Or you could have heard someone say, relationships mean heartbreaks. Or you could have heard someone say, having a business partner is equal to betrayal at some point. So now having listened to all of these things are subconsciously registered in your mind as you're growing up. Now believing in these three things will immediately lead to you having three models of the world at this very moment. For number one, money does not grow on trees. That means earning money is not easy. Number two, relationships mean heartbreak. That means being in relationships is never going to make you happy. It's always going to lead to pain. Number three, having business partners is equal to betrayal. So it means if you ever had a business partner, it would mean that you would get betrayed at some point and there would be no loyalty. Now, just like this, you have tons, tons of different kinds of beliefs and models that you have created. So this bit by bit create an entire model of how you are as a person. So right now, think to yourself, all of these beliefs, just think more and more about how many of such things that you believe in. You'll be surprised to find out how many you might actually end up with. And you will see about how believing in those things are somehow pulling you backwards to where you want to go because this contradicts the other. So go for it. The second question that I wanted to ask yourself right now is my model of the world based out of my pain or is it based out of my possibility? Now, there's no one person in this world who has not endured pain or who does not endure pain. Everyone does. Yeah, sure, it's at different degrees. But I'm sure you would agree when I say that you wouldn't be half the person that you are today if not for your adversities. But the problem is, most of us have our lives modeled purely based out of our pain. For example, maybe you spoke in the public, maybe you did public speaking sometime, and maybe someone laughed to something you said. And the first thing which came to your mind was that my opinions are always going to be laughed at, or my opinions don't matter. Or maybe you tried out a business and maybe you failed in it. And you got more and more and more and more and more of opinions about yourself and the models which you created because you went through certain experiences. These pain, moments of pain, became your moments of reality. And the moments of reality is your model at this very moment. So that's what I mean when I ask, is your model of the world based out of your pain or is based out of your possibility? Because possibility is literally anything. Anything and anything that you would want to be. So what is it? Now it comes to the final question which I wanted to ask yourself. And to me, this question is a game changer because once you get the answer to this question, you will be aware. And once you're aware, you cannot not be aware. And I'll cut to the chase and come to the question. So ask yourself this at this very moment. Is my model of the world setting me up for happiness or is setting me up for misery? Now, from the first two questions which I've asked you right now, there you would have probably so far at this point you would have already thought about this few other models which you have created for yourself, right? And certain things are so strongly embedded in your mind that you just wouldn't want to believe otherwise, because maybe in your mind it's like this is my perception towards it, and that's completely fine. You hold your perception, I'll hold mine. But just ask yourself this one thing. If you believe in this, I'm going to ask you another question. Just think if this particular belief of yours is going to coincide with some other thing which you want to achieve in your life. Just think of it. This now, for example, if let's say if you believe that people can't be trusted and people are not trustworthy, they will betray you at the back. And let's say you carry on with this belief, but at the same time, you have other outcome which you want to achieve. Let's say you want to have a big company, and you want to be this ultra entrepreneur and have this entirely huge business. And now that business will take people. So now your belief of not having people you can trust, and at the same time wanting to build a company, it's going to coincide. If you can't trust the people who work for you, you're never going to have a healthy work environment. It's always going to be toxic. So like this, don't base your trust and don't base your models on if it affects you at today or not. Right now, so many things may not affect you, but you have to think about this in the longer 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the lane. And once you do, you will understand at this very moment if you're setting yourself up for happiness or for misery. So do it. Ponder into these questions. Don't let them slide out of your mind. Most often than not, when you pose such intimidating questions to your brain, it takes a step back and panics while trying to figure out how to escape this uncomfortable endeavor. But don't let that happen to you. You have been set up for this moment of discovery because you deserve to demand those answers out of yourself. Which brings me back to the same question. If you aren't affected by societal opinion as well as you think you are, then what is it that you're affected by? The biggest drive and need that a human being has is to stay consistent with how they define themselves. This was said by Tony Robbins, and it's one of those things which again changed my life. So, the same way, the way we want to look at ourselves and want to feel about ourselves are the biggest driving factors that we have, which pushes us forward or pulls us backwards in life. That's when they say, if you truly want to go about loving someone else, you have to learn how to love yourself first. If you truly want to understand someone else, you'll have to understand yourself first. And the same way, if you want to go by living with yourself, you'll have to live by the model that you have created for yourself. So use these questions as a source of transformation and the message as a source of motivation, and keep hunting down all the goals that you've always wanted to. So, where are you today? Do you understand the model that you've created for yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching.